I actually think you guys are kind of fast in this stuff. Beach of the jib is just outside the spreader. The jib's not luffing at the top. And we're not heeling to windward as much as we were yesterday. In these side swells, you cannot, absolutely not heel to windward. And you cannot bear away too much when the apparent wind shifts. A really good team, a really good crew will be looking up here and going, you are right in the race with the Borellis. If we tacked, we'd probably get them on starboard. And that's a positive message, right? A really strong team, and you're gaining on them. Here goes the tack. That was not right. Yeah, she's got to do a better job of that. And she should let the Borellis cross. Beach of the jib is right at the spreader. My goodness, look at that. She should foot right now. She's got a boat coming at her. She should foot off. Make Sean tack early, and then head up. Watch, he's going to have an easy deep out. So she should have footed towards him. But look at her speed, dude. They are sailing outstanding. Chloe's trapping off the mast really well. Wow, Julia. Impressive. Holy smoke, what did they get? They must have got more wind. They were right next to Chloe and Will just a little bit ago. Okay, so starboard downwind is easier right now. Starboard is a little bit more behind you with the swell, so it's a little easier. You get off port, and you start to have that same phenomenon where you lose the apparent wind with the side swell. See, she just came too low. You gotta just go straight to, see that? You gotta sail with more power. You can't turn the boat down when you get power in these conditions. You get power and you let the boat ramp it forward and get moving, and you do little tiny soaks. Saw Julia gain on the left last time, but you guys did okay from your side. So maybe Julia is just fast again upwind. Yeah, look at that. You're getting your stiff in the same spot again. Very good job. It's like I wrote in my report after the first day, your base setting is learning how to get the lead to the jib right at the spreader tip. Until you're overpowered. And sometimes a little in, barely, sometimes a little out. But the problem with letting the jib out from the spreader tip is then it will luff at the top more than the bottom, and it depowers you. You don't want to depower this boat. It's underpowered. It's underpowered until 13 knots or something. So you might not know that. Her jib went out. The thing is, she lets it out on the tacks, and then she's struggling with getting it back to the same spot. It's pretty close. Watch the other teams. I believe they have the skippers moving a lot, and the crew's not. I kind of do the opposite, but I'm noticing a lot of teams doing it. You see how Maribel does the jives? He comes out of the jives, hand traps, and sits in. Now she's able to stay off the bar just because the wind is built a little bit. If it was lighter than this, she'd just swing in. She flattens the boat by hanging, and then she swings in and sits by the mast. Okay, well I can't do what I want to do. Just light air. Okay, we'll see what they do this time. Jiving. See, what I would be doing is when the boat heels, I would slide my butt up, wrap my foot around the thwart, and hike the crew. I think what a lot of teams do is the skippers get up on their Mickey Mouse position, and they move in and out. So we're gonna figure that out, because we got to figure it out for the weekend. We got one more day of practice tomorrow, and then we've got 7 races over the weekend. So the Super G course we did yesterday is different than today. Yesterday we went straight on starboard, hit the ley line, jibed, and then did a right turn down at the bottom. This one we're doing jibe sets, going all the way to ley line, right about behind me a little ways. And she couldn't jibe. The Borellis beat her to it. But that's why we're practicing. She should have seen those guys coming and probably spun it there, but that's okay. What we're working on now is we've decided to do Chloe sitting still on the soak mode, and not sitting still, but not moving as much, having Sophia move. And they said that, well, what happens if we heel over a lot? And it's like, well, then she has to turn down a little. Yeah, you don't. When you're in soaking conditions, if the boat heels a lot, you're going too high. Going too high is very easy in light air. You just end up beam reaching back and forth and not going towards the mark. We did learn that on those light air leeward mark roundings, you have got to go slow in on the jib. You can't just think, oh, we're going upwind, I gotta have the jib in. You pull it faster than the turn, but you don't pull it all the way in and leave it all the way in as the skipper's starting the turn up around the mark. You're like waiting for them to get the bow going up, and then you're pulling the jib in fast. Yeah, you can't be perfect on it because you got to get on the trap. And you should have roundness in the bottom of the main. The Borellis are the flattest on the bottom of the main. These guys are full. This is the biggest team. So this was a loss by the first 2 boats. Dawn come right back in here. Each of their jib is right at the spreader tip, I bet. And Olympia's really good at adjusting it. He's really good at putting the bow down, easing a little. She's free-hoisting the halyard a little, I think. No? Again, Super G left is jibe set, comes to this line, around that mark, leaving it to your left side. So left turn around. In the front of the mast, jibe. Hand trap, hand trap, hand trap, hand trap. Hand trap the whole way. Yeah, no hook that time. Okay, and then she, when you're coming into that leeward mark, you can start pulling on the retriever line. The skipper could do it a little if they're really good, and it will collapse the kite a little earlier. See, she would have got it down. Like right now, you could just pull the retriever line on really hard and let go of the sheet. See that? You just end up being late. Not a bad rounding at all, though. That was actually a good rounding. Julia just did too good there. Julia, just look at that, though. Wow, dude, look at that. I love it. I love her low mode, man. My God, she's gonna go right around Dawn, maybe. And these girls are fast. These girls are fast. We really have their sails set up really good. Now what we've been working on is not footing into these ley lines. She has a habit of kind of staying really low into ley lines. See how she's higher now this time? She's like, I don't want her to kill speed, but man, you cannot be on a reach going into a ley line. You end up turning like 150 degrees. See, that was just such a, not a good tack, but you could tell the boat wanted to get on the other tack really well. because you didn't have to turn 90 degrees. You can see the slot looks very open. Sometimes the skipper just puts there, I mean, you can see it through the mainsail a little, but you got to look up under there. Okay. And you're going to see the difference. Oh. These guys are about the same. Again, these guys are pretty far out. I didn't get the Borellis, but we will. This is what looks the best. They should have a little more bang on, but not too bad. But yeah, these guys are lined up with the spreader tip, and the leeches are more matched. These guys are quite fast. I think this boat has pretty much the best sail setup, and when she's fast, she could go an inch in on the jib, you know, and she feels good. Wow. They got their leech right at the spreader tip. They're not... There we go, Will. Yeah, see, that's the hardest position to be in, is on the combing. Okay, that looks pretty damn good. I don't think in this, when you need power, yeah, this guy's jib's the loosest. But his jib's not luffing at the top. If your jib's luffing at the top, you've got to trim a little. It does not take much. Look at this. They're the tightest jib. Look at that. See that? These guys are the fastest boat on the last 2 speed test fights. A lot. Okay, see, plays the jib. She just let it out a little. Yeah. See the pumps on the main. Like, easy. Pump. Okay, and these guys are outside the spreader tip. And they're in the best position, right? They started a little bit out to leeward and they were able to get up to speed, so that's why they're kind of beating everybody. Look at Will and Ben. We moved Will and Ben back. He was getting too far forward. Sometimes, unfortunately, you have to stay at the shrouds and just bend straight in and out. You can still see he's quite even further forward than Wes. Wes has one leg on each side of the shrouds, in and out. Ben is more light spots, he goes forward, and he has to go in and out a little. These ladies are hanging here. Tough spot to hang. Okay. Great for these guys. We got one more day tomorrow to get ready. These are the worst conditions when you're not finding it. You know, you're just you're hunting for speed. But you're getting over Sean here. That's a positive. Hanging, guys. Nice. Okay, so these girls have the rhythm with the swells. They love this stuff. Bend knees, skipper slides butt in. When they get the puff. So right now it's going to go light. Right now, light. And then somewhere in here they're about to get a puff. Right, 3, 2, 1. Yep, the swell is what kills the wind. And then you get in the trough and you get more wind. See how they pulled the boat over on top of them a little? Okay, so the swell's going to be different on this, but we'll see how they do this. Yeah, okay, the swell, they're going to lose wind, right? Little harder on the flattening. I mean, obviously I'm sharp right now because I can feel the wind. And, you know, if they could feel the wind there, they would have walked on it a little harder.